Yes, Red. Welcome back. We have been away for a few days, but we're back, and as you can see, it's the original three that are on tonight. Tomorrow, what was I going to say? So yeah, it's. Sorry, I've just got a message. Sorry. Marty, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm
It's
all
been
right.
a while. Been a while.
Yeah, I'm having a day off of hosting. I'm letting you have the honours tonight, mate.
Yeah, no worries. And Ben, how you doing tonight, mate?
Good lads, yeah. It's nice to have a few days relaxing. It's not really relaxing with the news popping, but
Yeah.
let's have it.
Yeah, before we get into any incomings tonight, let's talk a little bit about Luis Diaz. It looks like his move is going to be officially confirmed in the next few days. 75 million euro was it agreed between Liverpool and Bayern Munich. Marty, good price for Liverpool, or do you think we should have held out for a little bit more?
No, I think it's one of those deals where nobody loses out. Really, I think it's a good deal all round. I think Liverpool obviously weren't hugely keen on offering him a bumper new deal. He obviously wants his final payday at 28, which I understand. Looking at the market, I mean, he's we've said before that we used Langer, Kudus as kind of benchmarks for the prices, and albeit he's better than them, he's obviously probably at his peak, maybe entering twilight for him for a winger. So no, I think it's a good price, mate. I think Bayern are getting a very good player. I think the Bundesliga will give him probably an extra couple of years feeling like he's at the top than it will do in the Premier League. We get a good price. Obviously, we know what him going could potentially mean for us as well, which obviously I'm sure we'll talk about shortly. But no, I think it's a good deal for everyone, mate. I think everyone will be happy with that.
Yeah. Ben, apparently it's come out rumours Luis Diaz asked to leave Liverpool last summer. He obviously stayed one more year, won the league with us. Did he put Liverpool in a position really where teams could lowball us with the offers, or do you think Liverpool got the number they wanted? And could you see potentially where Luis Diaz could have been kept another season, maybe, depending on who comes in now, and then let him go next summer? Or do you think they've done the right thing now by letting him go and getting the money for him? We obviously made a profit on him. I think it's 25 to 30 million profit on him.
Yeah. No, I think they got the money they wanted for him, mate, to be honest. I think it's about right. It's unfortunate for him, but he just fell into that awkward age, mate, whereby Liverpool weren't going to give him a 4-year deal. That's what he's got at Bayern Munich. Liverpool don't see value in a player at 28 getting 4-year deals unless they are the creme de la creme. And I don't think they viewed him as that. I think they viewed him as a top player, but not at the level of Mo Salah and Van Dijk. And, rightfully so, they're a different level of footballer, aren't they? But, at 32, what would they offer Liverpool then is not really much. And they probably feel like they've got the best years potentially out of him. And he leaves as a champion. I think he's been a great player for Liverpool this year. I understand people's, thoughts on him, the inconsistency up and down, but there was nothing that you could ever doubt him on his will to win. He got the crowds up. I'll miss him in that aspect. But ultimately, there's still top players within the squad, and, we'll go into some names shortly. Look, I wish him well. I do wish him well. And, yeah, he's gone for the money, really. That's the be-all and end-all, isn't it?
Yeah, talking about money and Luis Diaz, Marty, it's been reported that he's potentially going to be earning 230 grand a week. So a massive upgrade on what he was on at Liverpool. Do you think the thing that kept Luis Diaz from a new contract at Liverpool is his age and the way Liverpool operate in terms of giving long-term contracts out to players at that age? And do you reckon money was an issue as well, again, due to his age and where we thought he'd be in a few years' time?
Yeah, I mean, look, we know Liverpool are a little bit touchy when it gets to, when you get to a certain age with contracts. Obviously, Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah are the huge exceptions to the rule because they're all-time greats, aren't they? Listen, the thing is with Luis Diaz, I think he falls in between. You get the fan base that I think probably put a little bit too much onus on how good he was, and I think you also get part of the fan base that really disrespect how good he was. He was one of those players where he put up great numbers, and I think if you looked at him on paper, you would think he was a very, very, very good player. And on his day, he was. But, I think the problem with Luis Diaz was the inconsistency, wasn't it? He would go through a period where he looked like he would score every game, and then he would stop scoring for 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So I think Liverpool probably looked at it and thought he was obviously going to be up for replacement, I think, in the next year or two anyway. So I think Liverpool's stance were, look, if we had him for 2 more years and he goes on a free, fine. If we had him for another year and he went for a cut price fee, fine. I think he has got probably a little bit lucky that Liverpool obviously have their eye on somebody. So I think they've probably taken a little bit less than maybe they first anticipated on him. But listen, he was never getting 230 grand a week on a new deal at 20 at Liverpool. They would probably renew him on a similar amount, probably with some bonuses on his numbers. And I think where he's at the moment, it was his last opportunity to get a big payday. Gets to stay in Europe. Listen, Bayern Munich's a great club. Fantastic club. They're always in the Champions League. He's always going to be playing European football. He's going to be winning trophies and he's going to get a big payday. Good luck to him. I think, if we were talking that Liverpool matched the contract offer, I think you'd see him staying at Liverpool. I don't think he was desperate to get away from the club. I think it was just that, Bayern Munich were willing to offer him the dough and he wanted it and he's gone. So, like I said in the first comment, Rick, I think this is a deal where everybody in it, Liverpool, the player, Bayern Munich, they're all going to be happy.
Right, Reds, there's 68 of you in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. On the road to 2K. If you get us there, Isak will sign a little bit quicker. But Ben, let's move on to the dominoes that are happening in the world of transfers at the minute. We've obviously seen the first one drop, Luis Diaz, going Bayern Munich. My opinion, I don't think Liverpool let Luis Diaz go unless they've got some sort of happy feeling about the Isak deal. I think the second domino to fall would be Sesko. There seems to be a little bit of a tangle going on between Manchester United and Newcastle at the minute for him, both in talks with Sesko in his camp. One ain't got the funds to even go near the transfer fee Leipzig are reportedly asking for, which is, I'll write down, 80 million euros they want for Sesko. You've obviously seen Man United sign Cunha and Buemo. Some reason don't want to sign any defenders or a goalkeeper. But Ben, feelings on Newcastle for Sesko? Do you think they get this deal done? Because obviously we've seen they've had a bit of a shit window. Can't get anything over the line. Do you think this is the one they get over the line?
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. It's a mad day. I've never seen a team in the Champions League in England have such a bad winter, to be honest. For me, it stinks if they've got no money, to be honest. Well, they've got money, but not enough. Let's be honest. You get deals done when you can be a bit more bullish, and they're low, but fucking 25 million they were offering for Brentford. And that's what I kind of think that's put them up shit's creek with that deal a bit, to be honest. I think they really see it as an offence, to be honest. However, I could start seeing them firming up a notch, Newcastle, with regards to Sesko. I think they're going to start trying to price United out. I don't know why United think they need 3 forwards unless they see Sesko as a fucking goalkeeper. Because where are they getting all this money from them? Do you know what I mean? The ground's falling to pieces. They've probably got one cook in the fucking club that cooks all the scrans, mate. So they need to fucking use the money all over the squad as well, mate. So, look, at the end of the day, there's flaws at United. I just can't see how they can go 3 forwards when they need multiple positions. Whereas Newcastle, look, it helps us, doesn't it, big time if they get that deal done. It's, simple as that. They've got Champions League. That could be a key factor to it. The one thing where United will be bullish with the deal is the wages, I think. Because obviously, this is where Isak's having a problem with Newcastle, isn't it, with regards to the numbers on the table too. It's the problem that Newcastle, to me, look like they've got is they're a very bad run football club, which I'm surprised when they've got Saudi owners. But look, the time has come. They've got to start putting some numbers on the table and they've got to force this deal over the line because it's only going to start pissing Isak off even more. Rick. The longer this goes on, he is going to be fucking either knocking Eddie Howe out or fucking the Saudi fella in charge. Do you know what I mean? But you can tell that they're doing a little bit of a scattergun approach now, Newcastle. You've got the Wisser thing. You've got Watkins has been linked to them and today, Nicholas Jackson. So they're trying, and to me, if you're putting all these names out there, there's a reason for it, which we'll go into in a minute.
Marty, Sesko, Newcastle, is the Isak deal relying on that to happen, do you think? Or is Liverpool getting the sort of word that Newcastle will sell without any top name incoming, just so that they can have the funds to go build their squad?
I think they'd like it to be. I think they'd like to get Sesko boxed before doing it, but it's getting to the point where I think it's going to go beyond that. I think they're going to have to make a decision because Liverpool and Isak, we were speaking off air, and the season starts in was it between 2 and 3 weeks. Isak's had no pre-season. Liverpool are going to want him to have a pre-season. He's going to want to have one. I can't see the club and the player being happy to let this run on much longer. So I think they've probably given them the grace of this week, maybe to. Just I think they're going to give the grace of this week to try and get Sesko. Newcastle obviously said to Liverpool, "This is who we want. This is our top target. Can you just let us try and get this?" I think Liverpool will give them that, but I think come Wednesday, Thursday, if there's no movement or it's looking like it's going to United, I think Liverpool will push hard on it. And just what Ali's saying there, I just don't think Liverpool and Isak will let it be a saga. I really don't. I think it's too big of a deal. It's way too big of a deal. I think it's more likely that you get a week and a half in and it doesn't happen, and they shut the door to it and they get on with it than they just run in, because it doesn't help anybody out for this.
You see in the comments there, deadline date, there is not a chance. Do you know what, right? Liverpool could easily say then, all right, sounds, fucking let it run to deadline date. The only people who get in the shit from that is fucking Newcastle. The fact of the matter is Newcastle need Liverpool's money. They are signing fucking nobody at the minute. You know what I mean? How many targets have they've missed? Like a full 11 of fucking targets. The reason they're missing these targets is money. You know what I mean? They've got the opportunity here to go and buy 4 players from Liverpool's money. And, what better club than looking at us who've been able to sell the best assets at the time to go and reinvest across the squad? Right now, they can't sign fuck all. It's as simple as that.
No, they haven't got the credit in the bank, the players in the team to do that. If we were talking, for example, what Liverpool have done now, and if you looked at it and someone was trying to sell, let's say the Luis Diaz one, Liverpool were in a position where they could hold out for as much money as they wanted to, and it wouldn't have bothered them. They're not in that luxury position now. They've had a terrible window. Like they have had, and the Newcastle fans will tell you that themselves. A horrible window. They've done nothing. They've not made any big moves apart from Malanga, which again, it addressed one area of the squad. But now they've got an asset that they think is worth 150 million quid. He doesn't want to be there. He's not on their tour. He's not training. He's not playing. They don't have a replacement. It makes absolutely.
He can't pay his wages, Matt, that he wants.
They can't extend his contract. It would be an absolute shot in the foot if they do that. They will cut nose off to spite their face. The best thing they can do is just get him out the door, get them as fast as they can, get the best amount of money they can, ease the PSR restrictions, and go and throw money about, because that's what they want to do. It's what they can do, but not at the moment. While they've got a sulky player and they're still relatively stung with PSR restrictions. So if it goes to it just won't go to deadline day, because Liverpool would have already fucked off by that point.
Do you know what was interesting? I listened to the what's his fucking name? The Sky Sports fella, the Scottish one that talks Newcastle. Yeah, and he was like, Newcastle have got to be very careful here, because if they fuck around, if they delay it, it's worse for them in the long run. Let's make no mistake about it. For Liverpool, we've just signed the number 9. Do you know what I mean? It won't be hard for us to go and sign other players. It's very difficult for them. And he said, Newcastle got to be careful that if he fucking gets a knock within the next week or so, that deal's fucking finished then. They're fucked then. So what do they do with their summer? I think this is all pretty pre-planned, this. The rumours are that, he's been pissed off at Newcastle for a long time. He was apparently promised a massive deal through Amanda Staveley. She had a lot of pull within the club. She's gone, and no one's picked up the thing. I think that Mitchell didn't even want to give him a big deal, and he was fucked off with him as well. Obviously, he's no longer there now. Who's handling all this? I have no idea. So that doesn't fill the confidence. And the fact that Craig Hope was saying that the players knew this was going to happen, that tells you everything you need to know. This shit will have been going on for weeks and months. And I think they knew this was coming to head-on thing. There's no coincidence that it's happened just after the halfway point of the window. Because let's be honest, Liverpool have probably had a bit of a say to his camp as well. Look, Liverpool probably knew they were never going to get him at the start of a window, and they know that they're not going to get him at the end of it. So now is the key point. Is Newcastle now have to fucking make a call on it? I just can't see how they don't take the money now, to be honest. A lot of I think I've been watching over the last day or so. I don't know if you boys have as well, but I've been looking at the main, the way we've got the red men and all that shit. I've been looking at the Geordie side of it. All of them now are convinced that he needs to just go. The same with that Keith Downey. Craig Hope's the same. The mood's changed. Fucking a week ago, he was categorically not for sale. Now they're talking about 150. They would probably consider it. He's leaving Newcastle this year. Well, sorry, this summer winter. There's no way he is not. I can't see him playing another game for Newcastle again.
No, I agree.
Quick one, boys. Obviously, the Isak news come out last. What was it? Wednesday, Thursday last week that he'd gone on tour, and he apparently told Newcastle. Did you expect Liverpool to go in a bit quicker than they have, or do you think it's right let it stew a little bit, let Newcastle get the sort of information from Isak what he wants to do? Obviously, he told them that he wants to leave, wants to go to Liverpool, but do you think Liverpool should have gone in a little bit earlier while it was still raw, or do you think it's the right time to wait?
I think you've got to take the media timeline as a pinch of salt. I wouldn't be surprised if this transfer request went in weeks ago. I think Liverpool, I think they're trying to be very careful here because, I've said it in the group, I think Liverpool get one opportunity to attack this, and it's got to be right. The minute they piss Newcastle off, the Saudis will just shut the doors. They won't care. So I think Liverpool will be in constant contact with, Isak's agent, with the player. They'll be talking, between them, and they'll be trying to keep negotiations as good as they can, because they can't afford to, really piss Newcastle off because, Newcastle still do have the whole reason this deal hasn't happened yet is because of Newcastle. So they have to be seen to be doing the right thing. So I don't think, and let's also be honest, you can't just throw a bid in for 130 million quid like that. It's got to go through legal checks. It has to go through sign off. It has to go, the bid process itself, just to prepare it, will take probably days. And, obviously we're over a weekend. What effect does that have? We don't know what banks need to be informed, what lawyers need to be informed. So, I think the timeline's running exactly how I hope it would. I think you'll see a bid go in within the next 24, 48 hours. And like we said, we if they're trying to keep relations good with Newcastle, there's nothing to say that Liverpool and Newcastle haven't had conversations around figures. And if Liverpool said to them, look, we'll help your case out here. If you're going for a striker, then look, we'll keep the PR down from our side. So you don't look like you're definitely going to have 130 million quid on the hip. And then once you're confident that something's there, then we'll move along through the media. I think you've got to take the media stuff with a pinch of salt. I think Liverpool will be well in there already.
Ben, agree with that? Or do you think Liverpool should have dived in head first and put a bid in to see where Newcastle's heads were at? Or do you agree with Marty?
I think Liverpool know what to do. And I think you don't go too early because fucking, look what happened a week ago. They were fucking fuming about it, weren't they? I don't know why. I don't know why they believe this is some totally different transfer. I do respect Newcastle. I respect some of the fans. Some of the fans that are saying Liverpool fucking massively tapping up. What the fuck are they doing to Wissa? Do you know what I mean? So it is the way football is, unfortunately. And ultimately, you've got to realise where you stand in the pecking order right now. They may be in 5 to 10 years' time the number one football team in Europe, but as of right now, they're not. Do you know what I mean? It's a simple fact. But I think Liverpool have played a very good game with it. I think they would have went too early. They'd have probably had more bad news. As days go by, in my opinion, Newcastle are becoming more desperate. And I think Liverpool have got them where they want them now. I think by the end of the week, Liverpool know if they've got this sign and done or not. That's just my opinion. As I've just said before, if weeks start going by, the only losers in this is Newcastle. Do you know what I mean? The player's going to be putting major pressure on it. And ultimately, if that happens, Liverpool ain't going to be paying anywhere near 150. Do you know what I mean? So I think that they are playing ball. I think what Marty's just said is right. These big deals, they obviously have to get signed off. Well, all deals will. Certainly this one of this type of magnitude. But also the fact, what I just want to add on what Marty said is, Liverpool need to know where they can go to if the first bid is rejected. Do you know what I mean? They want to know what the counter offer is. So, look, I think I think there's only one way this goes. There's no way back for him. There's no way back. Them fans are fucking fuming with him. But ultimately speaking, they're more fuming with the club as well. Do you know what I mean? I think Liverpool are looking at a reasonable figure that they think they've got on the table to them. I think around, Carl's saying that they're 135. I think it will be around there. Newcastle's, the strength in their hands dropped as soon as he fucking didn't turn up to that tour. As soon as he turned up to that tour, and ultimately now he's saying, I only want to go to Liverpool. There's only one way this goes. Newcastle cannot turn this money down.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Come on, lads. There's 97 years in the chat. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. It'll help the channel grow massively. Helps the algorithm. It'll make us put out more content for you players to watch going forward. But Marty, just want to quickly touch on something else a little bit. Obviously, we played Milan Saturday in a pre-season friendly. First team pretty much played the first half. Looked a little bit short at centre-half. Obviously, Gomez flew home from tour. He's gone home with an Achilles injury. And we ended up seeing Kostas Tsimikas at centre-back in the second half, which is something I'd never want to see. And listen, I don't even want to see him play, let alone play centre-half. Are Liverpool in the market for centre-halves, or do you think they're happy with what? Because Slot's come out and said that he's happy with the centre-back options at the minute, or do you think that's just to try and keep prices down if we're looking at centre-halves?
Yeah, Liverpool will get a centre-half. I think Liverpool need two. Do I think we'll get two? Probably not. They obviously want one. You know, this is the thing. People have got to trust the club here. You know, they've proved this summer now that they're serious. I know in the years gone by and the seasons gone by, we've had a tendency to leave ourselves short in areas, but you know, people can't expect managers to come out and throw players and teams under the bus. You know, you can't come out and go, yeah, you're right. The centre halves we got, you know, Canate's fucking always injured. Gomez is a crock. And everyone else is shit apart from Van Dijk. He's obviously going to have to try and instill, because we don't know when that centre-back's going to come in. We don't know who he's going to have to rely on. So, you know, he's got to big them up. But listen, you know, the biggest journos we've got have mentioned Mark Gay. You know, he's obviously the one that Liverpool want. I think he's the one that most fans want. I think he's the best made for where Liverpool are at. Obviously, Canate and Van Dijk are the starting duo. We don't know what's going on with Canate's contract yet. But he's the one that I think makes the most sense. He's Premier League ready, and I think he's the one that you'd feel comfortable just being able to drop in games, whether it's Champions League, whether it's Premier League. You know, obviously he's played World Cups, hasn't he? He's played in the Euros. Obviously, he plays in the Premier League. So yeah, listen, Liverpool will get a centre back. Liverpool will get a centre back. I think that one will be one that runs late, because I think they've obviously got the starting duo. You know, touch wood that one of them doesn't get injured for the start of the season. That would be anyway. Mm-hmm. They're obviously hoping that Mark Gay's price comes down. You know, Palace obviously showed their hand that they'd rather have a sale this year than him go for free. So I think Liverpool hold their nerve on that one. I think their full focus is going to be on securing Alexander Isak. And then, you know, as and when he's done, if he's done, Liverpool will then move on to centre-back. And then I think that'll be Liverpool done.
Rick, are you on mute?
Yeah, my computer's just doing what it wants at the minute, mate. Doing an update as well. But I'm going to go back to a little bit different one for you. We'll move away from the defenders.
Go on.
If we get Isak, do we get another forward then?
I do think we will, yeah. I do think we will.
We're going to lose Chiesa, potentially. Darwin Núñez looks like he could be going to Saudi if they come in for him. Elliott is another option that is potentially going. So do you think... If you think who, is there any names that you'd like to see Liverpool go for? Or
it's hard to pinpoint a name. I know everyone's got Fofana as the topic, but I think there'll be a few other ones up their sleeve. It's hard to pinpoint names, though. I really can't think of many others. I think it will be a winger. I definitely could see a winger, but I think it's going to be a winger that can play off both sides. You know, I think that's key. You know, I know people keep mentioning Frimpong, but I think it's going to be difficult to see Frimpong and Bradley play at the same time, especially at the AFCON time. The problem that Conor Bradley's got is he's got to be able to keep fit, and you know what he's like. Do you know what I mean? He does pick up knocks quite often, so I think it is quite important that Liverpool do look at someone that can also play on the right-hand side. Something that people probably could consider is possibly Liverpool may look at a loan deal with Rodrigo. That could be an option, I think. I don't know if Liverpool are going to go as top heavy on it if they get Isak. You know, I think if Isak falls through, for instance, then I could see a Rodrigo deal really heat up as the contingency plan. But I wouldn't rule out a loan deal for him because he can certainly play off the right-hand side, do you know what I mean? Then you've got like two in each position, which is what Arne Slot's been talking about, hasn't he? So I do see someone coming in. I don't know if I'd see two centre-halves coming in. And I also don't believe we need two centre-halves, do you know what I mean? I think the rumour is that Joe Gomez is more precautionary. So they want to get their, you know, their fucking doctors and all that stuff back home to fully check him out. So, you know, it's one of them. Look, if he's got a little knock, there's no need to be forcing him in these friendlies, Rick, you know, against fucking Yokohama. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just one of them. Do you know what I mean? But Mark Gay, I can see him coming in very soon, to be honest. But yeah, I could see two forwards coming in, one being Isak, unsure 100% on the other one, but and then Mark Gay.
Yeah, because obviously, I think at the weekend, Everton were linked with Fofana, which was a bit of a weird one for them because obviously once they play Champions League football, I think Leon won about 50 mil. Could you see Fofana coming in after Isak, or do you think that's maybe a late window thing in terms of the attack for him, or do you think they'll go for like you said, a Rodrigo on loan? But if you couldn't happen to get that, would Fofana be the next best bet, Marty? Do you reckon?
Yeah, he would. I mean, the thing is with Fofana, I'll answer Shab's comment in a second. The thing is with Fofana, I think Liverpool would have been interested at a certain price. I mean, the price tag's 50 million, I think. But the thing is for him, you know, when you're talking Rodrigo, you're talking ready-made serial winner that would go in. I think, you know, I don't know how old that Fofana is, but it seems a bit of a weird one to get a young, promising kid in when you've got Rio coming through. I just think the profiles might end up kind of counteracting each other a little bit. I think I would see Liverpool getting someone a little bit more established. And like Shabs here, so I'll address the Leao one. I mean, look, you know, Leao, he's got all of the attributes you'd want, but you can't. He had a good preseason game, but you know, I've seen him on a big stage, and you can't. He's found wanting a lot, Leao. You know, if he takes his form from that preseason game and he takes it through the whole season, then yeah, you have a conversation about him. You know, he's a big, powerful boy. He's fast. He's obviously got a lot about him, but he was absolutely average last year. He just was. You know, we played them in the Champions League. He got pocketed by Trent easily. You can't be giving him all the props over a preseason game because then you have to say Van Dijk shit because he was bad in that preseason. It's preseason. You know, listen, let's see how he goes in the season. This up and coming year, but he's got to improve. You can't drop the money AC Milan would want for him based on a preseason game. It's just. It'd be ludicrous. But listen, you know, I don't disagree. It's a bit like Darwin. You know, you look at Darwin Núñez, all of his attributes, and if you could build a striker, it would look like him. He's big, he's fast, he creates chances. Same with Leao, big boy, fast. Obviously, he got good technical ability. He's a lazy bastard.
Lazy bastard at times, isn't he?
So, you know, I get it. And listen, if he takes that into the season, then brilliant. But you need to see more of him. You need to see more of him before I start giving him more props. But he's got everything you'd want. But yeah, I mean, I think Fofana, he's definitely, you know, Liverpool love him. Liverpool obviously love him by all accounts. I don't think they dropped 50 million quid on him though. I think you'd sooner see Liverpool probably go for a Rodrigo or someone of that ilk than that, because there's no coincidence that Rio is around the first team a lot in pre-season. I think a lot will depend on how he goes for the next few games and what Liverpool see of him, because, you know, you got to give these kids a chance at some point, right? You know, you can't just keep talking about the promise, but then not let them have the minutes. So we'll have to wait and see. I think they will bring in another attacker, but I think it'll be someone versatile that's not stuck to one particular side. I think it'd be someone that they could play across left, right, through the middle. But yeah, I mean, just to wrap up on this one, Shabs, I don't want to ignore you on it. Yeah, listen, it could be one of those situations where you put him in a different environment and he bangs. Absolutely it could. But he's got to show that for someone to take the punt on him, because there's a lot of teams this summer that have wanted left wingers. Liverpool are going to be in the market, Arsenal in the market, Bayern Munich in the market, Barcelona in the market. Nobody's moved for him. So there has to be a reason as to why that is.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I don't think would be a step up in what we've got, if I'm being honest. I don't think he's better than Gakpo. And obviously we've got young Rio coming through, looks very sharp in pre-season. But yeah, there's 91 in the chat, Reds. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you got any questions that you want to ask the boys, put them in the chat and we'll get to them before we sort of wrap it up. But Ben, I quickly want to go back to the Isak stuff because obviously that's going to be the thing for the next couple of days, weeks, whatever you want to call it. Once we get the green light from Newcastle, how quick do you see Liverpool wrapping this deal up? Because obviously the new kit comes out Friday, Adidas taking over. Isak is one of their main boys. I'm sure they'd love it to happen before Friday, just so that they can get him out in the new kit, advertising it and getting the sales through the door. But how quick do you see Liverpool getting it done once it's there for the taking?
I think Liverpool would like to get it done quick, mate. It just depends how on board. Sorry, my fucking laptop's nearly dead. It just depends on how quick Newcastle really want to play ball, to be honest, Rick. You know, if they've got any sense about them, you know, they'll want this deal to go quick because they've got business to do themselves. I think Liverpool and Adidas would like to have it wrapped up very, very quick, Rick, but Friday is quite close, isn't it? Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when it gets wrapped up. But if it's this week or next week, it doesn't matter. As long as he's playing in a red shirt, you know what I mean? And regardless of what happens, mate, he's going to sell fuck loads of shirts, isn't he? Now, I don't know what the situation is with the kits all coming out. I'm guessing they're not all coming out at once. No one really knows. I'm guessing it's just the red kit, and then a couple of weeks later it'll be the away kit. So look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, Liverpool now, I think you're going to see Liverpool not being so nice over the next few days. It may look that way in the media. I think Liverpool are going to slap the offer on the table to them and say, look, fucking take it or leave it now, because as I said before, mate, they can't turn this money down. They desperately need it. Otherwise, they'd have all these fucking players that they've been looking at fucking weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? If you're losing goalkeepers and shit like that, and now you're going in for Adam Ramsdale, well, fuck me, do you know what I mean? It's got to be the worst Champions League team's fucking summer. Do you know what I mean? I expected so much better of them, to be honest. But just touching up on it, I think, I put a tweet out before and I've seen some people were with the idea and some people weren't with it. And I'm talking to potential Newcastle fans. They should not be shying away from the Darwin Núñez's and Harvey Elliott's, to be honest. You never know. It could be the Saudis fucking may put an inflated price on Darwin so that Liverpool can pay top white for him. It's an option to get the money into the club, isn't it? So, look, we will see.
Yeah, I see a tweet from a Newcastle fan that it's come to a stage now where we should take 110 mil plus Núñez. And I'm thinking, how much you value Núñez at if you're asking still for 110 mil on top? Which is quite mad. You're not getting 110 mil on Núñez. Marty, could Liverpool use the likes of Harvey Elliott, Darwin Núñez to sweeten negotiations with Newcastle, or do you think it'll just be a straight cash?
All right, the deal will go through separately regardless. It'll be a bit like you see with obviously Kwanzaa and Verts. I mean, Kwanzaa was obviously part of that Verts deal, wasn't it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's certainly players Liverpool are going to be selling that they should be inquiring about. You know, like Ben said, I don't know if you're going to look at players like Nicholas Jackson, then you need to be looking at players like Darwin Núñez. And Harvey Elliott obviously is a top player. Whether he fits into what they're looking to do, I don't know. But yeah, there is a dog. That's my dog's barking, by the way. The doorbell went off. So, I'll tell you what, I'll hand over to you a second, Ben, and I'll go and sort the dogs out.
Go ahead. You know, if it's not dogs, it's fucking aeroplanes and everything on this fucking channel. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking no all bad. Rick, do you know what? While Marty's gone to fucking strangle the dog, what's your take on Isak? Because I know you've been a big fan of it, but ultimately, Rick, you know, there's common sense and there's fucking not pissing around and joking.
There ain't no common sense here, lad.
Well, obviously not. We have planes and fucking dogs fucking on this show, lad. Where are you at with it now? Because obviously you've just heard us. Are you on a similar opinion?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the here we go tweet. I think Romano's milking it a little bit now with his tweets. It's every day the same stuff, just reworded different. Ben Jacobs the same. I think it'll get done quite quickly now. I think Liverpool will put the bid in over the next 2 days. I think it'll get wrapped up quick, regardless of what Newcastle do now. I think they'll probably come to some sort of agreement, board and management, that we're better off just taking the money now and go do what we want to do. Just get Liverpool away from us, basically. But I'm 100% it's getting done. He don't do what he's done over the last week if Liverpool have not given him assurances that we're coming in for him strong. And Liverpool, listen, if we don't get him, you can't blame Liverpool now. Like, we've done everything we can. We've told him we want him. We've told the club, Newcastle, that we're willing to bid the record fee for him. So it's just down to Newcastle now, and I just think they're going to come to terms with it. That is, just get rid of him. They just want to get rid of him now. Like,
I can't understand. Sorry to interrupt. I can't understand how people think Liverpool are being disrespectful when they're willing to give them the British fucking transfer record fee. What the fuck is this logic? I've just seen that TalkSport thing with Simon fucking Jordan chatting out of his ass. What the fuck's he talking about? Do you know what I mean? You'd think Liverpool were offering them fucking 15 million quid for him. They're talking of 130 to 150 million quid for him. If anything, that's being fucking overly respectful on a player that's just give a fucking transfer request.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? If you look at the media, how we're playing it, Liverpool sat there going, look, we'll bid, but we'll only bid when they ask us to bid. You know, they've reached out to the player. You can't. You said they've literally got it happening with Isak. You know, so either they're going to be hypocrites and they're happy for Newcastle to ask a player to down tools, but not Liverpool, or you just accept the fact that they've made an offer for the player. Newcastle said he's not for sale, and Isak wants to go, so he's doing what he needs to go. You know, Liverpool aren't doing anything that every other club doesn't do. Like, I get it. You know, it's shit when a player comes to your club. We lost to Scouser for fucking free in the summer to Real Madrid. It fucking sucks. Like, it absolutely sucks.
And every fucking moment that we booed them,
I know.
Said we were being disrespectful. What the fuck is going on with fucking people in England?
Yeah, but, you know, we put a bid in. Like you said, it's not... If we were bidding 80 million quid for him and unsettling him, then I'd get it. But we've carried that transfer out no different to anyone else. We've inquired to the club. The club have said no. Liverpool backed off, bought someone else, and the players kicked up a stink. You know, and Liverpool are still saying, look, you know, we won't bid unless you tell us to bid. You know, that's between Isak and Newcastle.
They're all shitting themselves because if Liverpool get this, they'll fucking wipe the floor with them all. That's the truth of it. Do you know what I mean? If Liverpool was strong last year, what are they going to be like with fucking Wirtz and fucking Isak in this team? Rick, do you know what I mean? And Matt, this is Liverpool. We spoke off here. Wirtz is the fucking unbelievable footballer, but getting Isak as a Van Dijk moment over again. Let's make no mistake about it. As soon as he goes into that Liverpool team, he's going to fucking dominate. You know what I mean? People don't realise how good he's going to be. People think Haaland's a good finisher. Wait till you see this fucker in a Liverpool shirt. I think this is our Van Persie moment, this, boys. And Liverpool are not going to let this go. I don't give a shit what they pay. You know, our fans, some fans on Twitter think they're all fucking accountants. Who's asked how much it costs? I don't care. This is the final piece in the puzzle. Liverpool get this. None of them are getting fucking close to Liverpool. They'll batter them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing people and Newcastle fans saying that we've been tapping Isak up through media outlets like Romano, Ben Jacobs, the amount of tweets that are coming from them. It's like, listen, if it's coming from anywhere, it's coming from Isak's agent. It ain't coming from Liverpool. Liverpool don't give stuff out to these reporters unless stuff's close to being done or anything like that. But Reds, I think we'll start to wrap it up there. I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever the Isak news drops. But yeah, Ben, thanks for coming on. As always, Marty, the same. But yeah, Reds, so probably we'll aim for tomorrow, same sort of time, see what happens, and then we'll go from there for the rest of the week. We'll probably do a show Friday, maybe a special show on like the kit unveiling. Obviously, we've all waited for that to come out. We'll have a look at something to do on that. But yeah, Red, stay safe. You'll never walk alone, and we will see you tomorrow.